Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. My whole goal with this channel is to keep you updated on certain stories that you should know about. Why is that? Well, we live in a pretty scary world. The more you're aware, the more you can be careful. That's my train of thought. Being from New York City and learning how, you just can't trust everyone. That's the whole purpose of this channel. And in today's story, I got another doozy. They're all doozies, right? There's just no way around these doozies, is there? And so I want to share with you exactly that. Have you guys heard of the shopping cart killer? That's right. It has just come about, not maybe 3 days ago, where they have identified a suspect and he has been arrested. Anthony Robinson, now known as the shopping cart killer. And when you look at things like this, number one, you have to ask yourself, okay, they found 4. Is there more? They found 4 bodies. Are there more bodies out there? That's what makes this whole thing so scary. Because a serial killer, they didn't just stop at 1. They continued to do it. And they were able to tie a shopping cart to this guy, and actually a Target shopping cart, where he actually carried his. And this is what makes this story one of the main reasons why this is a really sad. Are there more victims out there? Because we really don't know. But it is suspected that there could be more. And he is responsible for, so far, 4 murders. And so he is being accused as the shopping cart killer. And Kevin Davis, he's a chief of the Fairfax County Police Department. And he says, these were his exact words: "We are here today to talk about a serial killer." He identified this man as a serial killer. And, a serial killer means you killed 3 or more over a short period of time. Not like on the same day, which that could probably be, though. There are some definitions and some discrepancies around it. But Kevin Davis, he said that Robinson has killed 4 already. 4 already. And we suspect he has more victims. That's from the detective. Literally. And he's referring to him as a predator. He's referring to him as a predator, as all serial killers are. He preys on the weak. He preys on the vulnerable. And so according to Kevin, he says, our shopping cart killer does unspeakable things with his victims. And so they did find the body of Eileen Elizabeth Redmond. She was only 54 years old. Rest in peace, Eileen Redmond. And she was of Harrisonburg. And this is in Virginia as well. And Tanita Lorice Smith, she was only 39 years old, from Charlottesville. And rest in peace, Tanita Lorice Smith. They both were found in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And they were found in November of 2021. And the chief of Harrisonburg Police, Kelly Warner, they said during a news conference that the remains of Redmond and Smith were found at the same time, but the 2 women are believed to have died at different times. So they found both bodies at the same time, but they were killed 2 separate dates. And so Robinson, he is also believed to have murdered Cheyenne Brown. Rest in peace, Cheyenne Brown. She was only 29 years old. And there's a fourth unidentified victim. They don't know who she is. And so they did share that. Rest in peace, unidentified. I hope they're able to pinpoint who you are. And so they do have leads on who that fourth person may be, but they don't know for sure just yet. And so they shared that the decomposition has made identification more complicated because the body had decomposed. And so it makes it a little harder to identify when that happens. And so I'll share a little with you here. And so Sierra Fox, I'm not too sure exactly who that is, but she shared a picture of, where the Fairfax County Police Chief, Kevin Davis, he says Anthony Robinson, who is 35 years old of Washington, D.C., that he killed these 4 people already. And that he allegedly did unspeakable things to victims after meeting them on a dating site. And then meeting them at hotels and placing their remains in shopping carts. You see the key there? They met this man on a dating site. Like he was doing this on purpose to lure them in. And that's where it's like, you gotta be careful who you're trusting out there. You gotta be careful where you're trying to find love. Now, let's be real. This is not the first time that these type of killings have occurred. Generally, though, they don't turn into a serial killer doing this. Yeah, some things have happened. You've had different matchmaking sites where the guy turned out to be, a murderer, and that was, and it really was just like a one-time thing. And so his MO, his modus operandi, is using the dating sites to meet women and arranging to meet them in person at hotels and then murdering them with blunt force trauma. So, that's just sad. Like that. Why? You have to be an angry person, a lot of baggage from your childhood. And here's the truth. I don't ever think that whatever happened in your childhood makes anything that you do like this okay. You need to be brought to justice. Okay? Truth is, his defense attorney, if he does have a lot of baggage from his young days, this defense attorney will try to use that. That's the truth. That happens a lot, right? They try to use it to get leniency, to get a little more, a little more leeway on the crime that's involved. And so my internet looks like it's freezing a little bit. This stuff, why didn't I reset it? And so now we do know that hopefully my audio is still coming through. And so here's the thing. After he inflicts trauma to his victims and kills them, he And so one person shared that, the Fairfax County Police Department, Kevin Davis, that we talked about a little earlier, he shared that, he says, I can count on one hand. He says, I can count on one hand with a couple of fingers left over the number of times where law enforcement has had to grapple with the impact of a serial killer during his career. So it's not very normal. But now they have a serial killer. It's obvious when you have 4 murders on your hand in short periods of time, you got a serial killer on your hands. And so that's what's scary about this whole thing. That is what's scary about this. And so now he's going to go and face charges. He hasn't pleaded yet. And so, you had his first 2 murders that were tied to Robinson in November of this year, 2021. And so, but the police did not come forward with the serial killer claims until a little later, until they attached two other victims to Robinson. And in a press release back in November, a month ago, that's when police released Robinson's name in connection with the murders of Redmond and Smith that I described a little earlier. And so in that press release, it said that the Harrisonburg Police Department had identified two women. They have identified two women that were found dead in November. And then they charged Robinson of Washington, D.C. with 2 counts of first-degree murder, in addition to 2 felony counts of concealing, transporting, or altering a dead body. So that added on some more charges to this guy. And so, in this particular case, they were conducting 2 separate missing persons investigations. And this resulted in the focus of their search for Redmond and Smith to an area near Linda Lane there in the commercial area of Harrisburg. And so the bodies were found in an undeveloped lot, which was a short distance from each other. And so, even though they did occur at different times, that's kind of what also leads a little bit to being a serial killer. And Cheyenne Brown, another person, she was a missing person for a little while. They were trying to find her, right? And so Cheyenne Brown, 29 years old, rest in peace, Cheyenne Brown, and she was last seen in September 30th. So she had been missing. They didn't know where she was for almost 2 months. And so one of the suspected victims, Cheyenne Brown, she was reported missing by Washington, D.C. police. And so now they can at least have a little idea of what happened to Cheyenne Brown. And I mean, you're talking about from September 30th. Wow, And so she was described at the time as 5 feet, 2 inches tall, weighing about 130 pounds. And, she was last seen wearing a burgundy Washington Redskins sweatshirts. And so that was another way they were able to identify her. And so investigators, they have digital data showing she was possibly at the Moon Inn on the night she disappeared. Remember, he would meet them on a dating app and then take them to a hotel where he would then kill them with blunt force trauma. So terrible. So terrible. And so they also have video surveillance of Cheyenne Brown at the Metro. And they even have cellular data that showed Brown and Robinson were at the same location the night of her disappearance on September 30th of 2021. So this also connects the two. This connects Cheyenne with Robinson. I mean, this is where it's like, granted, you have so many cold cases out there, but don't people realize it's hard to get away with this stuff? Why even try? You gotta have a fetish to want to do this, in my opinion. You gotta have a sickness that you cannot control that leads you down this road. Because, I mean, you really think 4 times you're not gonna get caught and leave some traces around? I mean, you're stupid. My friends, be careful with these dating apps. Be careful. I mean, do everything you can. Do everything you can. I understand people want to find love. I get all that. But you gotta be extra careful. You never know. And I'm probably speaking to the choir. You guys all know this. But this stuff still happens because it's easy to trust the person who comes across as trustworthy. So, having video surveillance which showed that they were in DC at the same metro stop, that doesn't look good for him. And obviously, he is innocent until proven guilty or whatever. But let's be real, there's a lot of evidence that is pointing to this guy, right? And so you got, you got 4 people. Are there more? Are there more that need to be, are there more people out there? Does Washington area shopping cart killer, is there more out there? That's what I'm wondering. Is there more out there? Because he's gotten away with this, he didn't get away with it anymore, but he got as far as killing 4 people, allegedly. And so now they want to know, is there more out there? Let me know in the comments if you think there's more. Have you been following this story? What are your thoughts about this story so far? What are your thoughts? Have you been following this story and you believe there's more out there? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you believe there are more victims out there. And, what are your thoughts about a serial killer? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to play one. But my gosh, I just feel like this stuff can be avoided sometime. But again, no one's perfect. But this stuff, this is sick stuff. I'm not here to judge. I can judge his actions. But his action says his heart is in the wrong place as well. Because this is a heinous act. This is a heinous act. These 4 people, and maybe more, should be here today. My friends, thank you for joining me on another episode of Deep True Crime, where we explore these cases that you need to be aware of. You never know when that person's around you should not trust. And I hope that I can help you be aware, because it's hard. It's hard to trust, right? I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me. Hey, if this sounds like the type of stuff you like to follow, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click on that like button. Let YouTube know you got some value from this. My friends, I'm here to serve you. Keep you aware of what your surroundings and what could possibly go wrong. Thank you for joining me today on this lovely day, and happy holidays as we get closer to the holidays. I'm sure you'll hear from me again before these holidays as we get closer. Thank you. Have a great day. I will talk to you again.